For decades, the biopharmaceutical industry was kind of known for being a digital laggard. Everything moved at this super careful, incremental pace. Then, a global crisis hit, and boom. Suddenly, a whole decade of planned tech upgrades got crammed into just a matter of months. Okay, let's get into this incredible story of innovation born out of pure necessity.
And this quote from Johnson & Johnson's Manoj Raghunandan just nails it, doesn't it? This wasn't some small step forward. We're talking about a massive 10-year leap straight into the future, all because they had no other choice.
So how on earth did this even happen? Well, before 2020, the industry was on this slow and steady path. But when the entire world basically ground to a halt, digital tools went from being a nice-to-have item on a checklist to the only way to keep the lights on. The pandemic became this crazy, unforeseen catalyst for a revolution.
I mean, the contrast is just night and day. Before the pandemic, going digital was cautious. It was something they'd get to eventually. After, it became absolutely business critical. We're talking about transformation roadmaps that were supposed to take years getting executed almost overnight.
And listen, this isn't just some temporary fix that's going to fade away. A Deloitte survey of 150 biopharma leaders found that a whopping 82% believe this intense digitalization of their operations is here to stay. Their emergency measures? Yeah, that's just the new normal now.
So what were the actual technologies that powered this whole revolution? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the new digital toolkit that biopharma companies were grabbing to navigate the crisis.
When you look at the data, three big winners jump right out. Nearly half of the leaders said cloud computing became a part of their day-to-day. And right behind that, you've got artificial intelligence at 38% and wearables at 33%. These stopped being buzzwords and started being absolute lifelines.
Okay, so let's get real. How did something like AI actually make a difference on the ground? Well, one of the first, most immediate impacts was in completely optimizing how companies reach doctors and patients online.
So check this out. One company used this AI tool, Cognitive Spark, for marketing. And instead of just guessing where to spend their marketing dollars, the AI analyzed which digital channels were actually working. By shifting their spending based on that data, the results were huge. A 20% jump in conversions and an 11% boost in budget efficiency. That is the power of working smarter, not just harder.
Now for another huge piece of this puzzle, the Internet of Things, or IoT. This technology became absolutely vital during the race to distribute the COVID-19 vaccines, which was just a massive, mind-boggling logistical challenge.
Pfizer's vaccine rollout is the perfect example here. They had to ship these vaccines that needed to be kept at minus 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So what did they do? They used these special thermal shippers, each one fitted with a GPS tracker and a temperature sensor. These tiny little devices were constantly feeding real-time location and temperature data back to a central control tower. It was the only way to make sure every single precious shipment arrived safely and on time.
So, this sudden, insane acceleration has brought the entire industry to this major crossroads. With all this new digital momentum, companies have to make a choice. Right now. Do they ease off the gas, or do they use this as a launchpad to completely leapfrog the competition?
And Pfizer CEO, Albert Bourla, he frames it perfectly. This is a race. It's not just about adopting a little bit of tech anymore. It's about using it to win. The goal is total digital superiority, and the stakes could not be higher.
And this brings us to the core strategy, which Deloitte calls leapfrog digital innovation. The key here is that this is not about random acts of tech. It's about making smart, focused investments that connect and build on each other, like a string of pearls, to completely transform the entire business.
And here's kind of how that string of pearls idea works. A company makes one smart tech investment, then another one that connects to it, then a third that builds on the first two. Now, individually, they're valuable for sure, but when you string them all together, you create something so much more powerful, a true, defensible, competitive advantage.
So, what does this leapfrog strategy actually look like in the real world? Well, it all starts with setting these really ambitious, guiding goals for the future, what the report calls North Stars. Let's start with R&D, research and development. Here, the ultimate goal, the big North Star on the horizon, is creating the lab of the future, a totally interconnected, intelligent, and collaborative research space. Now, getting there requires a huge shift. It means giving researchers AI to help them analyze data faster than any human could. It means connecting all the lab equipment and databases that have been sitting in their own little silos for years. And, maybe most importantly, it means breaking down the old cultural barriers so teams can share information without any friction. And that same big picture, North Star thinking, also applies to manufacturing.
The dream here is the smart factory, a place where every single system is connected and machine intelligence is helping guide the entire production line.
Just like in R&D, this means you have to connect all those siloed systems. But it also takes this massive cultural change, moving away from that "we've always done it this way" mindset. It's about thinking digitally from the very beginning and then standardizing those great ideas across every single factory in your network.
Of course, having these amazing, ambitious goals is one thing. Actually achieving them is a whole different ballgame. And the biopharma leaders in the survey were super clear about the hurdles standing in their way. And the challenges are pretty fundamental. Topping the list, no surprise, is getting dedicated funding. 59% of leaders said that was a problem. Nearly half also pointed to needing a better, more cohesive strategy. And right behind that, finding people with the right talent and skills to actually pull it all off.
This quote from Johnson & Johnson's CIO really hammers home that talent challenge. It's not as simple as just hiring a few data scientists. Companies are in this fierce war for talent for a whole range of experts. Data engineers, cloud specialists, you name it. There just aren't enough of these folks to go around.
So all of this brings the entire biopharma industry to this incredibly pivotal moment. Really, the choice couldn't be clearer. They can either ease off the accelerator, let that incredible momentum fade away, and risk getting left behind, or they can double down, go all in on this leapfrog strategy, and fight to win the digital race.
It is a defining moment for an industry that was forced to change at lightning speed. And it leaves us with one massive question. At this digital inflection point, who's going to have the vision, the funding, and the talent to truly leap ahead? And who is going to be left behind in the digital dust?